Welcome back, my horde. So, in this episode, I'm going to just talk about something else. It was something I wanted to do for this channel for a while, but it's, again, with the fact of having the grouping of us not having the time, and also Jay being, very odd with the knowledge he does and does not have. I was going to do, like, a trivia thing on the game, where I have games of Seen It. Huge amounts of Seen It.
Yep.
And I was just going to, do, like, a Marvel Seen It.
Sounds good.
Where I literally just grab, like, the cards and I'd be like, you know.
I do the same thing with my wife, Trivial Pursuit, or anything like that. Same idea. Just read off the cards.
I have Star Trek. I have Harry Potter. I have wrestling. And I have Marvel. And I think I have another one.
Star Wars.
Yeah, I may have Star Wars. That's a Trivia Pursuit versus the Seen It. But yeah. So yeah, it's like I got that. And it's like, the only problem with my Star Wars one is the original three.
The original three?
That's fine.
No. The reason I have a problem with it is because a lot of them is like, who was the actor playing? I don't know. I can tell you 3 actors' names. That's about it.
I could probably do
Carrie
better than
Fisher, Mark Hamill, and...
How do you not remember Harrison Ford?
I knew it ended with Ford.
What about Chewbacca?
No, not Chewbacca, not at all.
Peter Mayhew.
Sure. Dude, you just said a name to me.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, fuck. I'm trying to remember his name. He's actually the voice of Vader. That one,
James Earl Jones.
See, if you had not said anything, I was going to actually say you can see 3 names, and I will eventually get it. Because, it's not that hard to remember. Pick him out.
Yep.
But that's the only one I know.
Very distinct voice.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was really one of the ideas I had because I was going to just, do it as a random show. Because then, you have 2 people, for example, and you just have them battling against each other. But again, it's just one of those problems where you have to get people to show up.
Yeah.
And Jay is not a good example of this. I can ask certain ones he may get, but other ones you're just like, huh? Though I did it with my nephew and my sister. I was just sitting there and just talking, like not recording or anything, just talking. And she's like, I don't know. It was Marvel. I'm like, She's like, I don't know. Okay. And I said to, her son, he's like, I don't know. I'm like, okay. And then she's like, oh, just hold on. She called her, boyfriend, who's a comic book enthusiast, mostly toward DC, but still knows some stuff. I asked him, and he's like, I don't know. And then I'm like, She-Hulk. And it was, basically, it described, She-Hulk being the cousin of a radiated person, I think it's gamma radiation or whatever, who's also radiated herself, who's also a lawyer.
Yeah, that's She-Hulk.
That's She-Hulk.
I think the only thing was that they added, detective or something like that. No, maybe not a detective, but she added something about that. And then they also added something about having another unique ability, like pheromones or something like that. I was like, huh. I didn't know she had that. Hey, Richie, get off the table. You're not supposed to be up there. But it was like, yeah, it's one of those ideas that I had just because the fact that it was would be really fun. I know 2 people that I'd love to have over sit down and do Harry Potter with. Because they're, huge into Harry Potter, stuff like that. So, having a couple of questions, stump them.
Yeah.
Would be interesting if I could find one. And now, keep in mind that my opinion of stumping someone versus the card's opinion of stumping someone are totally different.
Yeah.
Stumping me with Star Wars is so who was the name of the clone trooper that always hanged around with Anakin Skywalker?
Rex.
Congratulations, you're right. And that would be stumping someone, in my opinion. You not getting that question. The card's concept of stumping person is who voiced Rex.
I know.
That's the fucking those ones. I don't like. Who's the lighting man on the third Star Wars movie?
Who's the what?
Lighting man.
How the fuck do I know who the lighting guy is?
Didn't he have his jetpack blown up at some point and fall into a snark hat?
That's Boba Fett.
Oh. Well, wouldn't that thing make lighting easy?
Okay, first off, Boba Fett lives from that.
Yep. I was going to say that.
He's done it twice.
What? He's done it twice?
He's fallen... In that movie, that's the second time he's fallen into one of those things.
No, I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I'm pretty sure that was the first time he's ever fallen in one. Because no one's
impressed.
No one ever survived it. No one has ever survived going in it. He's one of the very few people that has survived. And the fact that he had actually stated that afterwards he had been a Bacta tank for a month or something stupid like that. Because he had acid burns all over his body. The only thing that saved him was the fact that he was wearing the armor, so it took longer for the acid to eat at him.
Yep.
And the fact that he had a grappling hook.
That makes sense to me.
And he had his grappling hook, because he grappled himself out.
Yeah.
And like clawed himself out. Yeah, he was fucked up. But see, I also know stuff about like the comic books and the books that would boggle people's minds. Like the fact that in the non-canon now books, which again that pisses me off, but we're not going to get into that. In the non-canon books, and if you're not understanding what that means, is prior to Disney owning Star Wars, all these books were canon. When Disney got a hold of all the books, it decided that it was going to erase everything that wasn't part of the movies because they wanted to start from scratch. Because honestly, which makes sense in a marketing standpoint, but not great for fan standpoint, which is the concept that they can make a lot more books inside certain time frames that they couldn't previously make. Also, the fact that the movies do not coincide with the original. The episode 7, 8, 9 would have been completely out of sync with the original books. Because the original books had it where Luke made a school. His sister went there and worked there for a little while. Mostly just to train quickly, and then she left. She didn't want to be a Jedi. And then
one random thing about her.
Yeah, okay.
Like later. Something that she did later.
Yeah, okay.
She killed a Hutt Jedi.
Yes. A lightsaber-wielding fucking Hutt. Who actually was skinny compared to any of the other Hutts. Yep. He was actually... because he had to make himself more towards like how Yoda fought. So he kind of fought more towards like that kind of style. From what I understand. I think it was...
I think it was in one of the comics.
Yeah. But anyway, so they had 3 children. Jason, Janna, I think is what her name is, and Anakin. Anakin dies at one point. I'm pretty sure it was Anakin that... I could be wrong, but it's Anakin that killed Chewbacca. Anakin had been very emotional and had seen a bad guy that he had been hunting for a while on this planet. The reason they were on this planet is because they were trying to help people get off the fucking planet because the fact that its moon was coming towards the planet. So they're trying to get people off the planet. And this kid, basically, he sees the guy and starts running after the guy. Unable to catch the guy, he has to then run back to the Millennium Falcon, which is now taking off from the planet. Because, again, it's about to die. And he force jumps up there, and as he's about to get up there, the ship hits turbulence and starts shaking. So he actually misses his jump and falls to the ground. Now he can't make it. He barely was able to make it before, now he's not making it at all. So Chewbacca, being the hero that he is, jumped down to the planet, grabbed the kid, and threw him back to the ship. And then the last ditch effort, not ditch effort, but effort but just basically out of protest. Chewbacca stared at the moon and growled as it crushed him. Han never forgave that son.
Yeah, wouldn't blame him.
Jason becomes a Sith.
Yeah.
And his twin sister has to kill him. And in the books, at the very Luke accidentally called her the Sword of the Jedi when he had a vision once. And that was in one of the older books. And as it progressed in the newer series of books where she actually becomes like having to kill her brother, she realizes she has to be the one to kill him because she's the Sword of the Jedi. And Luke's like, no, I told you when I said that you're not supposed to, pretend that never happened. She's like, no, I can't. You were telling me that I had to become this. He's like, well, you can't do it fucking alone then. But it was really interesting, those set of books, because it actually showed that Luke's whole motto with his Jedi was, you can go a little dark. It's okay. Just come back. So, like, unlike the original Jedi Order, which was like, you went dark, you're dead to us. In this one, it was literally, you went a little dark, it's okay. Just come back. And, like, Luke's wife...
Sort of like Mace Windu, then?
Mace Windu was less... He learned dark powers, but had learned to control them without going dark. It's more like Luke himself actually went dark, and his wife actually was a dark...
she was an assassin.
Yeah.
She was a Sith assassin, I believe.
Yeah.
And she was sent to kill him. Then she fell in love with him.
Yep. But yeah, so he put them, and like...
That's because he used his lightsaber on her.
Wow.
But their only son, Ben. Ben actually is with Jason throughout the entire books I'm talking about. I think it's like Legacy of the Force. I think is what this series is called. Ben was talking to them, and Ben's like, dude, I think we're going too dark. We have to pull back now. Like this, like the old Jedi's like going to a rating of like 1 to 100. Going to that. The original Jedi Code was like, if you go to a 10, you're gone. We don't want to talk to you anymore. Luke's is like, you go to a 60, come back, please. If you go to a 70, you're gone. We can't recover. You can't recover from that. Well, that's where they were. They were on that kind of mark. And then, like, basically, Jason's like, we're doing this. And Ben's like, I'm out. And just left him. And then Ben goes to Luke, and he's like, Father, this is the problem. He's like, well, it's a good thing you came back. Well, let's go deal with it together. And then after those books are done, there's actually another series of books where Ben and Luke travel around together to try to redeem each other. Luke tries to redeem himself because he had blindly not seen what Jason was doing. And Ben, because he had done it with him up to a certain point. And at one point, if I'm not wrong, there's actually a Sith girl. Like a full-fledged, I'm a Sith kind of thing that Ben falls in love with. And actually, I never read to see if he actually pulls her back or not. But it was actually like in the synopsis, I guess.
Synopsis?
Yeah. Of like Wikipedia. It was talking about the fact that they're both trying to pull each other in the opposite directions. Will they both fail, or will one of them succeed?
So what else do you got? Says a lot of Star Wars. You do have a lot of Star Wars knowledge.
I also have a lot of Marvel knowledge too.
Yeah.
So I also have lots of Star Trek knowledge. Oddly enough. Like, I know there's that whole joke about the fact that if you're a Star Wars fan, you can't be a Star Trek fan.
I've never understood that. Like, there's nothing wrong with liking both.
Yeah, no, there's not. There are certain things about Star Trek Star Wars that I don't like, and Star Trek that I don't like. I was actually going to say Star Trek first, but I just wanted to make sure everyone understood. Like, I'm
honestly not sure I could ever use a transporter.
I'd be fine with it.
It would
You're
depend
dead.
entirely on the principle of the transporter.
That's the thing. People will argue that, you're dead. But theoretically, okay, cool, you're just being cloned. Whatever. Does it bother you? Okay, here, using this as an example.
Oh.
If you right now were cloned, and the clone goes home and starts banging your wife, okay? Neither one of you know that you're a clone. You understand how this is working?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. And your clone starts banging your wife, banging your wife, banging your wife, and a year has passed, and you show back up. Who's the rightful one? You or the clone? I know my answer.
Me.
Okay. See? I'm the opposite.
You think
The clone can now take that life. The problem is he's been there now longer than me. Now, yes, he's only been around with her for a year, but he has all my past memories. So he's been there for 15 years. I've only been there for 14. So, argumentatively, he's got a year of knowledge with her that I would never have. So
it's also, here's the other thing of proof he's the clone.
Actually, in certain sci-fi things, they can prove that he's the clone. But the argument is the fact that it's... As long as I can still be, like, there, and I don't have to, like, run away to, like, fucking Vegas and, like, be alone forever, I'm okay with it. I'm really fine with it. Like, it's just the idea that, you know, like, as long as he has all my memories, and there's no, like, weird thing where he's changed or been weird or different than me, I'm fine with it. Just like when I go through a replicator. Not replicator, sorry. That would be awful. A transporter. You know, I die and my clone takes over. It's all my memories. I don't fucking care. Why do I care? The only sketchy part is the fact that, like, certain...
For sure, every series has had an episode where there's been an issue with the transporter.
Yeah, but also with every series, there are also science vessels. And I've also, you know, you don't see a lot of those, like, on civilian vessels. Also, here, I'm gonna give you an example of something else, Chris, because, you know, I understand, like, there's been lots of people who have, like, over the series, like,
it's the same concept as parachuting.
Okay. Okay. Let's just get into the one problem at a time. So, there's been lots of people in this series that have had the exact same beliefs you are. I don't want to use the transporter. I don't want to fucking use the transporter. Fuck that.
I can think of two.
I can think of a lot more than two. I can think of one from the original series who didn't like using it, and I can think of another person in the next gen who wasn't there for long, and I'm pretty sure there was...
season.
And I'm pretty sure there was other people who, over the course of the show, have been like one episode or two episodes, were like, So, nonetheless, we're going into the concept that there has been people that have the same philosophy as you, so I'm not arguing. However, you're in a capsule. Like a car. Let's go with a car. You're driving your car down the street, right? Your car, a rock hits your car.
Well, if it's a matter of life or death, fine.
No. We're not even talking about this. A rock hits your car.
Okay.
You're fine, right? In space, you're dead. You're in a fucking tube in space where death is everywhere. Transporter. The chances of a transporter actual malfunction, I believe, is something stupid, where more people probably die from shuttle incidents. I actually think
I remember, I can't remember what episode it was, but there was one episode where they actually mentioned it, where you're more likely, on Earth, in the Federation, you are more likely to get injured or have an accident on your way to the transport hub than you are actually transporting.
Yeah.
It's just like aircraft nowadays. You're more likely to get an accident on your way to the airport than you are in the aircraft.
The only problem with those is the fact that with the airplane is that if it malfunctions, you're not the only one getting injured. That's usually why they're so scary to some people. It's like if buses were to crash and like blow up, less people would be happy with buses because the concept so many people die at once. Versus the cars that crash all the goddamn time.
That's because it's control. In the cars, they're in control.
Yeah, but
it's their car.
I'm never in control. I can't drive. So I'm always taking the person who's driving me as they're in control. I've always been a passenger. So it's always been that mindset to me where if it's my time, it's gonna fucking happen. But I'm going to resist as much as I can. But with the transporters for that, it's one of those ideas where it's like, I die and clone takes over, whatever. And that's what people have always said. But honestly, they take away all, like they take your DNA, break it down, and then they put it all back up. Are you really dying? It's one of those also sketchy things where it's like, what is actual death? As well. So it's one of those things as well. Like,
It also depends entirely on how you think the transporters work.
Yep.
Because some theories are saying it's using quantum dots. It's quantum dotting basically your entire body, and it's then moving. The way the teleporters work is it then moves the individual cells or atoms through micro wormholes to your destination.
Okay.
And where it's reassembled through the quantum dotting.
Yep.
So you never actually die. It's just like walking through a door.
Yeah. I can see some.
The ones I can agree saying, oh, well, you're dead is when they convert you completely into energy and convert you back. Well, technically speaking, yes, you did die. You didn't have a pulse during that period of time. But then again, what's death? Well, according to most religions and everything else like this, it's when your soul leaves your body.
Yeah.
Well, in the teleport beam, it's your body is now part of your soul, which then just returned to the material plane.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you.
So you technically didn't die?
No, I'm agreeing with you. Like, there's the difference. Like, that's what I mean. It's like, it's also how you see it. But no, I do believe it is the second way, where they actually do convert you to basically your genome, and then they reestablish it. But they have to keep your memories. Your memories do move too. So because your memories do move too, it has to be on a level in which doesn't kill you.
Yeah. Because otherwise, if they just strictly took and cloned a DNA body, then
you wouldn't have memories.
Yeah. You'd be complete blank slate.
Because, at least as far as I understand memories,
everything instinctual would still function.
Yeah.
But all our actual memories are encoded in acidics in our brains.
But it is one of those interesting thoughts, at least. It doesn't really bother me.
Not a random rant.
Well, again, it's one of those things that usually happens with us. We start talking about...
yeah.
Sorry, what?
So start talking about one thing and then get distracted. Yeah. Go on to a tangent.
But I know that out of all the Star Treks, I have not finished Picard. My PVR got rid of like the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, I've finished.
So I didn't even know. I think it went on a Christmas break. I think it's what happened. My PVR decided that it was going to delete to make room for something. I was at 75%. To make room for the thing that was going to cost me 5%, it was going to delete 50% of my stuff. So I signed in one day to go check something out, and I realized that I was at like 30%. I'm like, what the fuck? And I looked, and just all my shit was gone. Like, I had lost fucking 2 entire series that I hadn't touched yet, and most of another 2 series. That's why I never finished Supernatural either, because I took a break from Supernatural because I was very grumpy. I also didn't get to watch Runaways, and I didn't get to watch Cloak and Dagger.
As far as Runaways is concerned, I've only watched the first season, and then I started to watch the second, and just...
Oh, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this.
That's good.
It's Cloak and Dagger that I started having problems with.
I liked Cloak and Dagger.
The first season I felt too slow. Like, the entire first season felt too slow. I've watched, I think, 2 episodes of the second season, and again, it feels too slow. I think it's my biggest problem with it, is that I didn't know much about these characters, but I'd seen them partially in certain comic books. And
I only really knew them from one video game.
Oh, see, I actually knew him from a comic book, a Runaway comic book.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like,
I knew they existed, but I just didn't
This
really
is
know
fucking awesome. what it is in short is that these two people who ran away as well, funny story. Basically, one they start doing some stuff, and I think according to the comics, they did drugs.
Yeah, I think so.
And they got superpowers from the drugs. And they actually are linked together, kind of. He is
very
actually
yin yang.
Yeah, he is actually the cloak. He actually wears a cloak around him and stuff like that, and he talks like very like logical and like cold-blooded kind of style. And she's more of the upbeat kind of thing, and she's got the light. She actually makes little daggers out of light. But the interesting part is the fact that his cloak actually sends him to a different dimension.
Yep.
And he can teleport using the cloak.
Going through that dimension.
So in other words,
it's not a fun experience if he doesn't want it to be.
Yeah. In the comics with the Runaways, he actually grabs a bunch of the Runaways and puts them in his cloak because they're attacking him. So he just puts them in the cloak because he thinks they're actually like criminals. Because their parents put on an APB saying that they were actually like not runaways, they were murderers. And that's why they were running away. So when he catches up to them and they attack him, he just puts them in the cloak. And then he's like talking about the girl. He's like, okay, it's okay, girl. You're fine now. And that's when she just like fucking hits him. And he's like, she hits him like so fucking hard. He flies back and he's like, oh. And the girl's like, what just happened? He's like, she's one of them. Because she had shown no signs of powers, unlike the others. But her powers were actually, she was a mutant. She was the only one in the group that actually had legitimate powers. But yeah, then they help them out and stuff like that. But yeah,
Typical team up stuff.
Yeah, the Runaways. There's the one guy who's the leader, who's not really the leader. He's the leader for the majority of the first like comic or two. Oh, here, guys, I'm gonna let you know right now. Spoilers for the Runaway comics that have been out for a while. Anyway, their parents were all like, they signed a deal with a demon. Or no, an actual elder god. That's what it was. It's a fucking elder god.
You moved. How dare you move?
Anyway, the parents would then get immortality. Like, the parents would get immortality. They get all one ticket to immortality while he destroys the entire world and reshapes it. They have to get him power within like 20 years or something like that. While they're all doing this, they all have kids. And now they're all trying to decide, do we give one ticket to one adult and then the one kid? Or do we start killing off each other and, have it so like the families can go? And they're having this like discussion and stuff like that. And the kids accidentally see them sacrifice a person. And they all basically run away. The quote-unquote leader of the group is the only one without powers of any kind. And he also turns on them in the end. He actually goes back to his parents and starts telling them stuff. And he's going to get one of the girls to like be with him. And he's trying to like get that family to be situated with them. Stuff like that. But he's got no powers. The other guy, he's very smart. So he can make like tech and stuff. So he's not got powers, but he's like got like smart enough to make tech. So like, he makes the fistigons, which are basically gloves that when he hits someone, they're gone. That's why he calls it the fistigons. Because when he hits you, like I said, you're gone. The other girl is a mage. The other girl is an alien. The other girl, her parents made a dinosaur, which is genetically raptor. One like an actual raptor, not like the tiny raptors. Like Jurassic Park raptor. That's what we're just saying. Jurassic Park raptor, not a real raptor. Because the real raptors are actually smaller and have more fur on them. But made basically a raptor that was genetically modified to actually listen to her. So she can telepathically talk to it. And the last girl is a mutant. And that's the group.
Yep. Excuse me.
And they actually get another member at one point that is apparently married, betrothed to the alien, which is a Skrull. Skrulls are... You watched the movie, did you not? Or... No? Did you watch the newest Spider-Man movie and or the Captain...
Oh, Skrull.
Skrull?
The Skrull.
I heard Scroll.
Well, I say it wrong.
Skrull.
I was trying to figure out how in the hell she was betrothed to this piece of paper.
Again, I say things wrong. But yeah.
I know what you were saying, so it didn't bother me any.
Yeah, so she actually is like betrothed to one of them. And yeah. They actually do have a grouping at one point where they group up with one guy who turns out to be a vampire. And try to eat them all. They also group up with another, the girl, the one, the mutant one, which is the youngest one of the group. She actually groups up with a bunch of people and then finds that they're all being controlled by some guy and then gets her group to help free them. Stuff like that. Yeah, it was... I didn't ever finish the series because, you know, comic books are expensive. But I definitely enjoyed it. That's why when it came out to a TV series, I was really enjoying it. And, you know, some of that, but they changed certain things. Like, they were trying to, like, because, again, you knowing the comic books, you know who's going to turn on who. So they were, like, constantly trying to, like, flip the table, saying it was, like, 3 other people that were going to turn on each other and stuff like that. And, yeah.
They were trying to confuse the issue.
Well, it's what they try to do a lot of the time when, you know, it's one of the biggest problems with, like, books and comic books going to movies. If you're actually taking from the actual source material, do you A, keep it exactly the same and have some fans may be getting bored because they know what's going to happen, or B, do you alter the thing and maybe have some fans being mad that you've changed things?
So that's why I can't watch, like, there's a movie I can't watch, Angels and Demons. It's a Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah.
It's prequel to Da Vinci Code.
Yeah.
I can't watch it.
Because
they changed so much from the book in the first 5 minutes that I can't get through it.
It's why I can't watch Game of Thrones Season 2. Because they changed too much. Season 1, I was like, okay, they've changed a little bit here and there, but I'll roll with it. Season 2, they changed way too much. I was like, I can't. Not just that, but it felt like
Weren't you going to originally, like, weren't you thinking of just powering through it anyway at some point?
No, what I was going to do is read all the books. Wait till all the books are out.
Then watch the show?
Then watch the show. Because then I can actually just be like, that's fine. I don't give a fuck anymore. Let's see what they did.
Yeah.
But it's not the books. And I know what the true story is in the books. Like, I don't think the ending's going to be the same.
I hope not.
But the other problem I had with the books... Or not books, sorry. The show. The other problem I had with the show is the fact that it felt like, after Season 1, they should have made each book into 2 seasons. But they literally just made every...
you felt like they rushed it.
Yeah, they rushed it, yes. Because, yeah, it's like... And then
I remember you asking me, hey, watch this episode.
Yeah. Watch it, because he was like,
did you...
This episode came up.
You haven't read the books, so does this feel rushed to you?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, actually.
Yeah, not just that, but there's like, I was like, at one point, I was like, hey, dude, this scene's coming up. I know this scene's coming up because I've read the book. Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe I was talking to the other people that were watching it.
Maybe.
But I was like, this scene's coming up. It's going to be so fucking cool. I cannot wait for them to say this one line. The person came back to me and was like, what line were they saying? I'm like, this line, like, you know, because you watched it, right? They're like, yep. Like, this line right here. And they're like, they never said that line. I'm like, the fuck is wrong with them? That was a great line from the book. It was probably one of the Imp's lines.
He had the best lines.
It was either him talking to his sister or him talking to his father.
Yeah, okay.
One of the two lines. Because he says a line to his sister and she slaps him. And he looks at her and says another part of the line. And she goes to slap him again. And he's just like, he's ready to take it. It's roughly when he, right before he actually gets accused of murdering, well, not right before, but before he gets accused of murdering his nephew.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
For those of you who have not watched season 5 of the show,
you ruined it for me. Now I can't watch it.
Look, you never intended to watch it in the first place.
Also,
no,
to be fair, I never said what nephew, so I'm going to now. Joffrey.
I'm pretty sure it was the end of season 4 that he died. It was a glorious death.
Which, it happens roughly the same in this book. It's just, they changed, some of the stuff, I've been told. At one point, in the books, the mother, she plays a huge role after her death.
Joffrey's mom?
No. Robert's, the Stark mother. Mummy.
Okay.
Stark mummy. She becomes very useful.
Yeah.
She has this huge thing where basically she has her throat slit during the Red Wedding. And her son has his head cut off.
Yeah.
And they can't, because of the concept that there's a group of people that can bring you back to life, they can't bring you back to life if your head's removed.
Fair enough.
So they bring her back to life. But she can't talk.
Yeah, they didn't do that in the show. I remember you telling me about that, and I was expecting her. After the Red Wedding in the show, I was like, okay, when are you going to bring her back?
Yeah.
And they never did. It's like, what?
Or, I don't know, again, how much they show, but there's a huge part about the Vipers. Huge little section about the Vipers. And it explains why the Viper did what he did. You've never watched any of it? Okay. Anyone that has watched it, there's a scene where the one guy is fighting the mountain.
Yep.
For the imps. It's season 1.
Was it season 1?
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not, because it would have been probably season 5 then. But anyway. It probably would have been season 5, now think about it. Yeah. But anyway. Because that's what you said. I think it was to actually
the end of season 4, I think, is when Joffrey died?
So maybe it was season 5 to prove that he's innocent?
I don't remember.
But anyway, so he actually has this, where the guy's like, I'll take the job, I'll kill the mountain for you. No problem.
Yeah.
And he basically takes out knives. And he starts, cutting at him and stuff like that. And basically, he's toying with the mountain. And no one's understanding why. He's been poisoning him. Every knife swing is a poison.
Yeah.
And he purposely does it so that the mountain will admit to killing his niece and nephew.
Yeah. And the mountain still killed him.
Yeah, the mountain still kills him in the books too.
Yeah.
But
I remember watching that. I was like, fuck off and kill him.
Yeah.
Just fucking kill him.
Yeah.
And you're dead.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. But the entire concept is the fact that he wanted him to admit, because it's been a running thing, that the Vipers were actually married to the dragons. And that, it was a subsection of the family, everything was going to be fine, and it was all this great stuff. But the reason that they were killed is because the dragons had gone insane, and all dragons must be killed.
Yep.
And, okay. But
he wasn't a real dragon.
The Vipers
Dragons can't be burned.
The Vipers were pissed off because the Vipers, it was the guy's sister, basically, and his maybe it was his aunt, but it was his aunt and the children. It was family that they killed off. You didn't have to kill off the fucking children. They weren't in line with the throne. You didn't need to kill off the fucking children. But apparently the mountain went into the room and just took the child and just bashed against the rock. And the concept is that they they believed that it had to have been the one family that did it. Because it's the only person that he would listen to. So the concept is, did he take orders to bash the child against the rock? Or did he take orders to just eliminate the family? And he took it upon himself to do the extra stuff. So that's kind of one of the things that they had been, interested in, and yeah. But it was also like they changed like a bunch of who was where and what. So I was talking to Chris about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, so like this person's here and this person's here, and he's like, no, this person's here. I'm like, what? That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll end this episode.
Yep, I figured
because it's 40 minutes. So, and it's mostly just me talking about, every nerdum that I can think of. So, until next time, our horde, just keep in mind, if your clone is in control of your life and you're in some facility for, let's go with a year or so, just let him have everything. Or them have everything. The fighting would just be awkward, man. You never want to fight with yourself.
Isn't that the first sign of craziness? Having an argument with yourself? And isn't the definition of insanity losing that argument?
No, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting a different result.
What?
I haven't hit stop, you asshole. That's what. As my finger was just about to press it, you had to talk.
Yep.
Don't even.